Alrighty, so hello. My name is Griffin Martinez, and I am ready to serve as the Director of Community Engagement for the, I believe now 2021-2022 some school year semester. All right, so a little introduction about me is that, first of all, my name is Griffin Martinez. I'm a rising junior from a little small town in Delaware called Fountain. Um, My major is in health behavior science, and I have minors in both public health and health disabilities and physical activities. My freshman year, I have lived in Thomas McKean, and one of my favorite activities from being on campus was just going to the Hen Zone, introducing myself, and getting to meet new people. So a little about me and my experience, starting with high school, is that my sophomore and junior year, I was the class president. This involved me being like vocal with our classes and being able to like get their opinions on like events that we had and working with board. Not just myself, but I was working with a group of team members, and we were able to execute and like plan events such as like prom, many like events for our like senior, well, not senior trip, but for events in our hallways, fun engagement weeks, yeah, and spirit weeks as well. And along with that as well, while being in high school, at the time, I also served as treasurer and historian for Business Professionals of America. Those were two separate years, by the way. I believe I did historian first, yes, then treasurer. So historian allowed me to basically do like updates monthly. We have like newsletters that we had to post out. Being able to like communicate with them and our members of our organization to be able to provide like information of what's going on and inform them of what we are planning on doing for the month going on and for months that we just had. And for the treasurer, as pretty obvious, keeping track of the money. I was very involved with math in high school, so I took on the role of treasurer, keeping track of all the expenses, make sure not too much is being spent, not too little, and also being president of the Spanish club as well, and that was my senior year. I took Spanish all 4 years and got into the club. We have thrown events, help with like my school I went to was Lake Forest, so I love Lake Forest Day. We had our own table and be able to put that on as well and help out with that. So going into college, my freshman year, I served on the Community Council Board, now called CAB, in Thomas McKean as the Vice President of Finance. At the beginning of the school year, I just served in Community Council as just a member going. And I realized that at the beginning, the President and the Vice President of Finance had to go to the meetings every week. Our Vice President of Finance had to step down. And I was like, okay. I knew that we had to do this, and not many people were there at the time. I decided to take on the role, knowing that as well. I was very vocal with the president at the time. We had gone to the meetings like every week. I was one of the very few who was very vocal to the president and also our RHC at the time, and be able to like put on the events and like get students' feedback as well. Much like my roommates as well. My roommates were very, I want to say like very introvert, so I try to make sure like to be able to focus my attention on the people like them to like be able to get like their opinions on like what we should do for events and how to like improve our community as well and our residence halls, because not just Thomas McKean, but we also had James Smith as well. Sorry, I forgot to include that. So there's two dorms that we were mentioning at the time. I also had friends in James Smith at the time, so we also made sure to connect with those. And at the time, I was also a net captain towards the end of the year. I knew that our hallways were very lacking, so I stepped up in position as a net captain. All right, so a little overview for my position. I hope to form connections with nearly every e-board member, which I feel like I've done this year. Establish a more diverse point system. I feel like it will engage more CAB members to participate in it and during the years. Develop a strong relationship with the CAB, which I feel like is very great and all for our committee, for the board as well. And also from this year, I've nearly served almost every subcommittee that there was. And that's what the great thing about it is that I'm able to serve in multiple things and be able to help in others. So like being able to help with recruiting, feedback, superlatives, and swag as well. All right. So my vision for the future is to establish a closer connection with mentoring system. I feel like this is the biggest thing going forward is the mentoring system, and it means more than I could have imagined. My freshman year when we had a mentor, I feel like I relied so much off of them because I remember that, we can't, our RHCs are our go-to person at the time, but our RHCs are also providing for like the RAs. So they have like their own things going on. So having that kind of mentor is definitely, a helpful situation. And it's also great because there's like one of us as well in college, and they're able to be like in our shoes and understand like what we're going through as well. And so what I hope to do is be able to like talk to every like members of our board and be able to like make a calendar of these events to see what each cab is doing and how they are going about the situations and all. See if they need those resources, as I said. And as I said before, I also hope to continue with the point system that we have in place. This helps to engage cabs. We just brought it back, I believe, after a year or two. And this helps also give ideas for marketing as well. Once students do their cabs, we can also post like, post like their events and show like what's going on around their campus and show like, you can be involved as well and should participate in these things. And it's very cool to be engaged around the community. And then also just build relationships with the executive board members as well. I feel like director of community engagement is one of the most funnest roles out there. And I just want to be able to make sure to provide like engaging activities with the members of our GA and our residence hall members and bring a positive outlook and attitude for all. I feel like I want to do more connection with the e-board. So hopefully providing for next year, I could be able to provide those events where I can work with the e-board to do such. Thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions?
Awesome. Thank you, Griffin. We are now going to move into a period of question and answer for a duration of 5 minutes that is extendable 2 times. I can begin the time with the first X in the chat. All right, Victoria?
Yeah, so a new responsibility with DCE this year was maintaining a calendar of CAB events. And so obviously that didn't come to fruition this year. So I was wondering, what is your plan to do something to actually start it up next year? Like, what's that going to look like?
I feel like the biggest thing is that during the first semester, we were lacking that problem because a lot of the students were off campus at home. And the only thing that this coming year is that I'm pretty sure is that we're trying to have the goal that everyone's going to be on campus as well. I feel like be able to connect that with the CAB mentoring system and be able to provide maybe individually with each member and being like, what's going on with your CAB, and, how can we be able to do that as well? And maybe discuss that at our executive board meetings to help that as well. So hopefully we can be able to learn about their events, and if we need to, help them to be able to provide them with the resources that we need. And then once we have everything and they have all the resources that they need to make sure everything is going smoothly, that's when we can provide a calendar of these events to make sure that's going to go smoothly, like I said. So thank you for the question.
Cyan?
Yeah, so with the anticipation that there will be more students on campus next semester, how do you plan on refining the point systems if you're reelected?
So I feel like the point of the point system this year was sort of to engage the CAB members into our system, making sure the CABs are, want to do these things. And I feel like points is be able to do them as well, but sometimes maybe they don't rely off the points as well. Maybe just need that extra, motivation to be able to want to do things. Like for example, if I would do one event and find it like very successful, I'll be like, whoa, that was so fun. Like I want to do that again. And I feel like moving on, be able to provide that extra motivation like this, be able to help them like put on more events and stuff. And I feel like this is actually a great way of going about it. At first I was very like, some people may not do it, but honestly it's helping quite a lot. Did I get everything? I'm sorry, I forgot to ask. Did I answer your question? Thank you.
I see that Connor YTR'd, which for context is yield to redundancy. So if somebody already stated what you wanted to say. Any other questions? have a question. You mentioned in your platform that like forming strong connections with both the e-board and the CAB members is a priority of yours, which I think is super important. So just from your experience as a director of community engagement from this past year, what do you feel was like our biggest challenge with that? And how would you kind of guarantee engagement and kind of fix that problem for next year?
So I feel like our biggest thing going into this year was definitely transitioning with the COVID restrictions going on and being able to like motivate the CAB members in GA, well, not CAB, just our CAB members to be able to participate in events. I feel like our goal this year was basically to like do our own positions and focus more on that, you know, getting those right so that next year we can be fully set on. I feel like what I struggle with this year is being able to like provide those like events where, you know, we go just relax and like have fun with the e-board. Like I said, I know I've mentioned this year like having weekly like events, but I feel like that never came to fruition because there was like so much going on, and I just put that to the side a little bit because we were throwing other events. Honestly, I feel like that is very important for our e-board because, like I said, it helps us to relax, release stressors, you know, and maybe just talk about things if we want as well. Because I know we talk about them at exec board meetings, but sometimes maybe we want to just get things off our chest that maybe we haven't talked about during the week. And it's just, you know, be able to have fun, you know, like make sure everything is going good. And maybe having the fun game night will relieve them of these things as well. And having them with those CAB members as well, like I said, we'll be able to like feel like they're more connected to the e-board, you know, and like want to be able to talk to them as well.